And we're back. I'm the Dad Panther, and I'm going to give you some news on the AEW wrestling game. And this wrestling game is going to shake up the wrestling game industry. Let's go. Kalika-lika-loud. Now, what I mean by shake up the wrestling industry, before we get into some other stuff, there's been almost like a monopoly or a stronghold on wrestling games, period. When I was growing up, and again, if you've been with my videos in the past, I played a lot of almost every system that's come out, and there was a nice buffet of wrestling games, at least 3 or 4, give or take, year round. Whether it was WCW, ECW, TNA at one point, WWE, WWF, unknown, like I want to say overseas wrestling. There are generic wrestling where it was just wrestling in general and it wasn't backing any flashy names. There was always different styles of wrestling games and games that kind of came from that. And at some point that just disappeared, and really all you had prominently in your face was the 2K series. And I played the 2K series, and it was fun for a certain period of time, and then it just fell into what all the other 2K games do. It becomes this grab of VC and microtransactions, and you weren't able to put your creative player face in. It just wasn't as smooth, and though you had tons of options for a creative player, you had a very lacking story, and it felt very cut and paste every year. The thing that was more exciting for any 2K game that came out was the fact that someone else modded it on PC or set it up in a way where you downloaded created characters and made your own storyline. You just had to pick it up and run with it. And AEW, well, Kenny Omega's AEW, has revealed that he is going to, and maybe not him in general, but if you know Kenny's a big gamer, just like a lot of other people that are on the AEW brand. And he talked about, hey, having a game that was going to come out. It was something that we kind of knew, but even with how big AEW has gotten, where they've been giving it to the WWE in the, for what I'm hearing and seeing, the certain demographics that would allow them to say, hey, look, we're winning right now in wrestling. Our style of wrestling, that's, that new style of wrestling, flashier, faster, more over the top for the most part, we're winning. And now we got a game that's coming out, and this is going to be interesting for the gaming community, because now I can't remember the games off the top of my head, but you've got 2 or 3 games right now that are in development. You also have one from the same people who brought you some of the older wrestling games in development. WWE just, I think it's called Battlegrounds, that just came out, didn't interest me whatsoever. It was an arcade game with, I guess, character-ish type. It didn't do it for me. If it was your thing, it was your thing. And the most recent 2K that came out just was horrible. It was so many bugs, and to the point that the developers had to go in and kind of like apologize, do a town hall meeting, and work on trying to get it better for the next series of games. So this is great for these new games that are coming out right now. And no one really knows what they're going to talk about. I have no clue what they're going to talk about. I know what I want. I mean, I don't even care for it to be crazy with graphics, because I mean, if you've played wrestling games or fighting games, necessarily, if it was just fun to play, you played it. Like if you had friends coming over and they picked up a controller, you got a younger nephew or son or daughter who's playing, you're able to kind of just mess around the game. And if the game is fun and the gameplay is fluent and it just comes to you, you can have fun with it regardless if you're a wrestling fan or not. I remember playing Street Fighter 2, and it just, you didn't have to know the storylines of the character. It just, the way the game would play, the way it would look was smooth. So I mean, I'm hoping for a nod at the older N64 games. Even Def Jam, not the Icons game, but the Def Jam Vendetta game had a good fighting system. I don't know how that would play over to something like this. No one knows. I don't even want to get my hopes up. But create a player would be nice. Online would be nice, a great storyline, but no one knows. But the thing about it, the wrestling industry, as far as gaming, is so bland that no one really cares. They just want it. They want this game and the other games that are in development, and they want to be able to go ahead and pick and choose and see what they want. So, like I said, Kenny Omega on his social media just broke the news and said, "Hey, look, here we go." And it was like a little teaser video for like 30 seconds. It didn't show any gameplay, and we're gonna get this information. The other thing, it leads me to think, man, this must be a big studio that's working on it, right? Or at least a super professional studio, because a lot of these video game companies are having so many leaks as of late of pictures and you know how it's going in the workforce, and no one heard anything about this game. I know Cody mentioned that he knew about the game, obviously, but he couldn't say anything, and something would come soon. And for it to get an announcement coming up soon, tomorrow soon, actually today soon. No, it's later on, but that's not the point. The point is, when does this come out? I hope it doesn't come out soon, right? Well, I don't know. I mean, what do you want from this game? Put in the comments, subscribe, hit the like button, notification ring-a-ling-a-ling, and it's going to be a slobber knocker. You could have been anywhere in the world and you're here, and I appreciate that. So, kalika-lika-lao.